I find for me, habit trackers work so well for me. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but a tick
Mm,
on a sheet makes me
I
feel good.
do. Gold
And
stars.
I
I
even
know.
put,
Yeah, gold stars for yourself. Right job.
yeah, and to start off, like when I'm not used one for a while and I don't feel like I've got my routine as I want it, I often put like some easy ones on there, like ones that I know I'm going to do. So I pretty much religiously do my meditation when I wake up in the morning. So I'm like, I'm going to put that on. So when I get downstairs, I can tick that off because I can tick three things off. I've done my breath work, I've done this and that and the other. So habit trackers are a really great way. And I think for people setting intentions, I think don't go for the massive change, incremental changes, and constantly reflecting on it. So, for example, I did with Danny, we did one on habits and goals, habits versus goals, maybe in October time or something. And in that one, we'd set some challenges to do, some intentions. One of them was breath. One was I was going to start my habit tracker again, which I did until Christmas, and then it's not. So I'm going to have to start again. But I did get on my habit tracker, so I did that one. And the second one was breath work, and because I stacked that on top of my meditation, I did the breath work great. But the last one was stretching. I was going to do my leg stretches every day because I wanted to be able to kick higher. And I was trying to think of a good time to do it. And I was like, I've already got too much in the morning. And so we talked about it. And she was like, Danny suggested maybe when you come in from work. And I was like, yeah, maybe. I'll have to see how that one goes. And I kind of felt like that wasn't going to work because I come in at different times and I've got other things on usually. I come in and I've got to, I don't get home from work and have nothing to do. There's usually something I've got to do and it's always different things. And so it didn't work. That doesn't mean that I can't put stretches in, but that stacking the habit of coming through the door, stacking that habit of stretches on top of coming through the door from work didn't work. And that's why it's important to be reflective, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, exactly. You need to make sure it works for you. Like, that's the thing. Like, and do it. Yeah, do it at a time of day that does work
Yeah.
for you. Because I initially, when I started doing squats, like I was randomly doing them throughout the day. Just at a random time. And then at 5 o'clock in the evening, I'd sit on the couch going, "Oh, geez, I never did my squats today." And then I'd be like, "Ah, fuck it, I'll be grand to do it tomorrow," kind of energy. But now I actually, because I have the habits stacked in the morning, I don't forget. And that's why it's so important to do it when it's a time that will work every day, on that time every day. That's what's so important. Definitely.
Yeah. So my advice would be keep it small, keep it easy, make it pleasurable if you can. So we're talking about exercise a lot. I know that's one that people choose a lot, but for other things as well. Um, I do karate. It's enjoyable because I go with my sister and I enjoy it. A lot of people who are making choices to get healthier will go, I'm going to join the gym. And it's important that that is actually the right choice. It might be like yourself, you exercise at home. There's nothing wrong with exercising at home. There's lots of things on YouTube that you can do or follow, or apps you can follow. You don't have to go to a gym to get fit. Having somebody to go with can really help.
Yeah, that can help. Yeah, because I used to do exercise classes years ago, exercise and stuff like that, but I always go on my
Yeah.
own. And I'd lose the motivation then because I'd be kind of shy about being there. I wasn't as confident as I am now. So I'd be shy about being the only kind of person, you know, on
Yeah.
my own. And that kind of made me give up. But yeah, it is good to have somebody to go with and make it fun, like, and stuff. Always good to do things like that. What else is there? What I find very helpful is a vision board. Have you ever tried vision
I
boards?
haven't done a vision board. I've done
Mm,
visualization, but not actually got a vision
yeah.
board.
Like what vision boards are easy to do. They're great ways of manifesting without actually doing anything straight away. So cutting out little pictures of magazines or little things that you aspire to do. So for example, I cut out pictures of books and writing implements at one stage. This is before I published my book, and that came to fruition. So like the whole concept is if you see, yay, because of the vision board. But like when you see something in your mind's eye, you know, like if you, like for example, if you want to build a house, or as I said, write a book, put that picture on your wall and look at it every day, and every time you see that, you imagine publishing that book, or building that house, or going on that holiday, or even a picture of a car, like buying that car. And even looking at something like that every day can actually manifest stuff into your life quicker without actually doing things. You know, so straight away, you know, eventually you're going to have to take action steps. But these are they're kind of another simple way of manifesting your goals before you actually have to take action towards them.
Yeah, yeah. And it's all about, like, I like the saying, be something and the universe catches up. But if you're looking continually at the thing you want to be or the place you want to be, it just keeps it in the front of your mind, doesn't it? You know,
exactly. It really does. It gives you kind of, especially when it's a picture, it makes you excited because every time you see it, you're like, yeah, I'm going. That's my. You know, if you set an intention or a goal and you don't write it down, or if you don't see it in that picture, you kind of go, sure, you know, it might never happen. It's impossible. But if you keep seeing it and keep getting, I suppose, excited about it, that's how you can kind of manifest it in quicker and make it possible.
Yeah. Also, we touched on it before by saying having someone go to the gym with you, but accountability is a really big one. Telling your friends or family what you intend to do, having a coach who can actually keep you to account is really useful. But there's apps like Habit Share, so you can, even if you're not going to the gym with a friend, or you're not eating healthily with a friend, or you're not reading with the friend, you can share the habit, and you can check in with each other, so you can keep each other account, not even being, you know, anywhere near each other, using apps like that. So that's really good if somebody's wanting, and you can have different things. So somebody could be working on health and somebody could be learning an instrument, but you can keep each other in check and seeing other people. So when somebody else ticks off one of their things for the day on their habit tracker, you get a notification and it spurs you on, like, oh, I haven't done mine yet, sort of thing. So that's Habit Share is a really good one if you can get somebody to do that with you. That's really great. Or just holding yourself to account with a habit tracker. That's essentially what it is, isn't it? A habit tracker. Yeah. We're talking about celebrating wins. So we want to celebrate our wins without derailing our progress. So if we're wanting to be healthy, if we are embodying a healthy person and we've had a really great week, we don't want to be eating a cake to say well done.
That's all. I went to the gym. I'm gonna have Chinese. That's what we used to do years ago. We go to a class and then we'd end up eating loads of food. No, we need to think of healthy celebrations for the right celebrations for each thing. Definitely.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be food, does it? You know, it's just like if you're saving, you know, you want to improve your finances, then buying a handbag to treat yourself, or even going out for a coffee isn't necessarily the best way to treat yourself. So it's about, if the changes that you are making are incremental and small, you won't need massive celebrations. You know, you don't need to have a new handbag, or, you know, you don't need to post it all over social media. You just need to be validating yourself. Well done. I'm on the right track. I'm so proud of myself this week. Saying positive affirmations about who you're becoming or who you already are.
Exactly. I was just about to say that affirmations are so good to kind of embody that or believe it yourself. Like, you know, I am a healthy person. I exercise every day. I have healthy food habits. I have healthy skin. This will all kind of, you make yourself believe it even before you actually start to do it.
Yeah. Doing things that are fun as well. So you're a big advocate of finding the fun and being a child. And
oh yes, bring out your childlike self. You know, dance around, be creative, watch yourself. You know, treat yourself to a nice movie. just, bring out that playful side, because I like that's, bring the fun into life, because a lot of us are just we're
Serious.
so kind of in the grey, kind of in the black and white, and everything is so this and that, and everything is so serious. Let's have fun with everything we do. Bring out that childlike, playful energy in everything that you do. And, it just brings joy back into life and into the mundane things of life. Just have a laugh at yourself. These kind of simple little things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. So we've talked about how to set an intention. So it's thinking about the person who you need to be to get the thing that you want or be the thing that you want, and making small incremental changes, changing your environment. So that changing your environment can be not hanging around with people that perhaps will derail your progress, and it's okay to go, at the moment I'm focusing on me. It doesn't mean you're falling out with anyone, but you have to be aware of the energy and the
exactly, especially when it comes to things like maybe drinking alcohol or going socializing and that kind of concept. If like I know from myself, when I first started giving up alcohol, I still go to parties, and it was like I was looked at like I was a black sheep. It was like, I felt like I was doing something wrong by being, by not drinking, and like, you kind of take yourself away from that situation so as, not to be influenced back into it. And I actually still have nightmares that I even had a dream last night that I drank over Christmas, or I ate fucking meat. I keep having these dreams that I relapse, and I'm like, I'll never do this again. But it keeps happening, and that's the thing.
Strengthening your resolve, isn't it?
Yeah, because like genuinely in the dream, I have the regret of actually having that drink or that food, and I'm like, that reassures me that I'll never ever do it in real life again. But you remove yourself from that situation. Like I can go to the pub now, and I can go out and say no to having drink, and that's fine. That's different now. But at the start, it was difficult. So when you are just starting off that habit, changing your environment is actually very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about, when you're formulating the habit, you need to make it as simple as possible for you to, and that's not to say you're giving up smoking and you can't hang around with those people ever again, or that you, like you say, if you're giving up alcohol, it's not that you can't ever go into a pub again, because that's not what we're saying. But that whilst you're setting that and getting strong within yourself and becoming that person, and have the evidence to back up that you are that person, because that's what we're doing when we're creating a habit, is that we know what we want to be, and we are trying to be that. And the more that we be that, and we're voting for the person we want to be and not the person that we used to be, then we build up evidence that we are that person, and then you are the thing that you're embodying. And when you are strong in that, you can go and do whatever you want, can't you?
Exactly.
But whilst you're trying to make those changes, make it as simple as possible, make it as fun as possible, because if it's fun, you're more likely to do it again. You're going to enjoy it. Make the cues obvious. If you're going to go running, put your shoes outside the bathroom door, so once you've cleaned your teeth, they're there, so you don't forget. Like, there's little things like that. It's like preparing. So just like you might, before going to work, in the evening, before the next day of going to work, you might prepare your packed lunch or whatever. You might lay out your uniform to make it easier. Think about what's going to make your morning routine better. Because what I have noticed from being someone who has lost all my cues is that once you don't get started, it snowballs. You spend more time not doing the right thing, and then you feel guilty, and then you need more motivation because you're feeling rubbish because you haven't done anything. And if you start strong, it just gets easier. And it talks about that actually in Atomic Habits, doesn't it? It's like there are certain points in the day where you make a choice. It's like a fork in the road, and one decision leads to many other decisions. So for example, I went out for New Year's Eve, and I made the decision. I was on the fence, will I drink, won't I drink? And then my sister said she was going to drive. I was like, okay, I will have a couple of drinks then. And then because I had a drink, I smoked. And I haven't smoked for ages. So, but had I not made the decision to drink, I wouldn't have had a cigarette, you know? So it's like everything has a knock-on effect, doesn't it? It sends you down a path. And if you're going down one path, it's harder to turn around and go the other way. So if you can set your morning routine strong, and that's what I love about my habit tracker, because what I would do is also the path of least resistance. So I tried lots of different things. Like I used to get up at 5:30 and go straight out walking, but there's a lot of resistance to going outside in Manchester when it's raining. So I decided to do my meditation first, because there's less resistance. All I'm doing is putting my headphones in, and it's about designing your morning where these habits stack of increasing needing. For me, it's like increasingly moving out and away from the bed, being more active. And it's things like that that can just make it super easy. And by the time I got downstairs, I could tick off about 4 things, because I'd done my meditation and I'd done my breath work and I'd done this and that and the other. So it's about designing your mornings. I think that's key, because if you can make a good start, it sets you off for the day, doesn't it?
That's it. And that's the way I am in the morning now as well. I wake up, I do my few minutes of gratitude, and then I'm out of that bed. Once I'm out of the bed, that's me ready and set. And like I come back and do my meditation, a sit-up meditation, because if I did a lie down meditation in the morning, I'd just go back to sleep. That's the way I'd be, like, genuinely. So that's the way, you know, I set the stage in the morning as I planned it around the cat and the dog as well. Do you know what I mean? So that they don't interfere. They're just a part of the kind of the circle I go in to come back into the room to have my shower and meditation. Say, do you know? So I kind of do it in a circle. It's weird. It's in my head, it's like a circle. You know, leave the bedroom and then only come back to the bedroom when I'm fully awake.
And but that's a good idea, because otherwise you might get back into bed. It's like making the bed as well in the morning.
Yeah, the first thing I do when I get out of bed is make the bed.
Yeah, well, I didn't realise how effective that was. It just sounds so ridiculous, but I do find that a lot of the stuff that, you know, you're like, as if, and you start and you're like, oh wow, it really does make a difference. I remember thinking that about gratitude, you know, and I was like, I was in a really dark place at the time, and to be honest, the only reason I even started doing gratitude is because I was desperate. I was desperately low because of what was going on in my life. And Women's Aid was like, oh, start writing a gratitude list. And I was like, how bloody ridiculous is this? Like, right,
you're kind of going, what the fuck am I not to be grateful for? Look at what's after happening
on in my life right now. And like, you writing a few things on a piece of paper is going to make any difference, and it made loads of difference.
You don't realize how much, even though your life might be going downhill or has been really bad, there's actually still so much to be grateful for. There really is. You know, we take those little things for granted.
Yeah.